Goedemorgen. Ja, I don't know in the Norway. Goedemorgen. Okay. Goedemorgen. Welcome back here. It's still a small group. Probably I miss some people. You already mentioned it. So it was a late night probably last night. But I assume they will be coming. I see most faces have been at the camp before. Does somebody not know about today, about the bar camp? What we are doing today? Explain it anyway, okay. It's, you see, an empty coffee. You see coffee. You see coffee there. As you've seen, the program is empty because the program are we. We make the program today, and I know someone already want to book the whole room for today. But what we will do today is bar camp style. That people of you who have an idea about a session will come up over here and will present the session they have an idea about. That can be a session, but it can also be a question to the other people who are around. From I want to know something about a topic. Who can help me with that? And then we check how many people are interested, and then we make a planning for it. It's quite easy. The times are not working. We will find that out, and it will work. But thank you for everything. Thank you very much. You are awake. Okay. So, are there questions? No, it's earlier. So the game is on. Who has an idea about a session? Oh, we only have one day. Who wants to be first? Ben was first? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so...
Is he on? Yeah, yeah. He's on. Now, Ben, please do a little. Yeah? The light is on. Yeah?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I've been doing TYPO3 for a very long time, but the past couple of years I didn't do shit. So I did a TYPO3 installation of version 13, but now. So I mapped like 3 domains. I used to use Automake template for that with the markers. And I now installed the Bootstrap package. But, you know, it's a kind of basic thing, but I want to do a little more. Somebody recommended do T3 Bootstrap. So I would like to sit together with a few people, just explaining to me or just telling me the problems you have for just creating a small private installation. So I'm not sure, maybe everybody only does company website, but if anybody would be would help me out, or maybe some other people, just to have a look at what's available, because I still think, you know, like it was 20 years ago, it's still difficult just to do an easy, nice install for a private website. So,
yeah.
TYPO3 for dummies.
Yeah, I think it's a real good one. How many more people will be interested in that session? Yeah, Larry, thank you. Yeah, find some more people. Who will be able to help Ben? Yeah, probably you are.
I need somebody that can guide us through, you know, a bit what extensions there are and.
Not that many hands.
There's 2 core decks.
Yeah, towers. You have been there yesterday. No, but would someone raise the hand to say, I can show some things about that?
Because you're also kind of starter, right?
Yeah.
I'm a CMS agnostic content modeler.
Yeah.
I've been looking for talkers also. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, if nobody else wants to, I can at least do it.
Yeah, if we do the talk now, because I have to leave early today, I can now join.
Oh, good.
Okay. Thank you.
You were already jumping last night, so.
Yeah, all night. I prepared 78 talks.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
I've chosen one. It's more business type. I want to introduce the concept of digital estates, asking the big question, can we have too many websites as a company? Want to show the dangers of outdated content and everything connected to that. The idea of digital estates is that surprisingly companies have more websites, more social media accounts that they know about. And what we can do with TYPO3 with that. That's the point. Is there interest in there? Yeah, fantastic. So I talk with myself. The business people are still asleep, right?
Yeah, I
The
think so.
devs had coffee, now awake.
Yeah.
So no one? I can switch to accessibility and tell you the truth about accessibility. Is this more interesting?
Then everybody's like,
Because I'm a disabled person, you know, somehow. That's better?
Who's interested in that talk about accessibility?
It's more? Okay, then we do accessibility.
Accessibility.
Yeah, while preparing the second one. Yeah, we do, outside. Okay. Let's go outside, man.
Thank you, Jens. Okay. Yeah. I will come to you, Roland.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Timo. I have some small extension in the package developed together with Mitwald for the M Studio. We are integrating GitLab into the M Studio so that you can set up your projects easily, starting with TYPO3, and I want to show it to you today. I want to show you the timetable and what are the future plans for it. So it is an easy, hands-on setup for project managers and dev to have a one-click setup, and you have a full-blown development stack. Staging, production, local development, and ready to program, ready to go, with all pipelines in place. Who's interested to hear about this one?
Okay. About 10 people.
M Studio. M Studio is an application framework. I think Mitwald can explain a little bit better. Yeah, it's built on top of their cloud hosting infrastructure to manage their new hostings. And this one is an extension integrated. There's a marketplace idea behind, which can extend functionality in the M Studio to make it work. Yeah, okay. So I would prefer to do it maybe not directly now because I want to prepare two things of stuff. Maybe you can casual me at in the
After
second
lunch.
in the second or after lunch.
Yeah.
Second slot. Or?
No, we'll come to that later because
Okay, this is
otherwise
later.
everybody
Okay.
will
So,
be in
thank
the
you so
first
much.
slots. You're already waiting for a long time, Roland.
No problem. Hi, my name is Roland. I'm an AI engineer at iAble, and I want to bring you more advanced skills for accessibility testing, can show you a Profi report tool and also open source reporting tools, how to fix errors, how to find errors, and what are the low-hanging fruits on your page that you can directly go to the standard and raise the accessibility of your page. And what benefit this has, I will show directly with my page because they have a history to have much more accessibility, and now it's converting in SEO and all those things. This can I show. Who is interested in this? Yes, thank you
Lots of people.
for enjoying this topic. Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's about accessibility testing.
Yes.
Martin.
Wir können es auch zusammen machen. Morning, everybody. We are Ryder and Martin from Mitwald. we have lately been dabbling a bit with AI workflow tools. Like I have been dabbling. Ryder is the one who actually knows what he's talking about. I don't have any clue. But we're going to be talking about it anyway. So this is going to be 100% improvised. We're going to show you how to use low-code tools to build, starting with simple things like maybe a chatbot, over to more complex workflows that have agency, that you can integrate with external APIs, that you can integrate with your content repository, things like that. We're also going to talk about how to bring these platforms to production, how to use them in production, to integrate them into your site. Ryder, did I forget anything? The name of the talk is Building AI Workflows When You Don't Know Shit About AI.
And exactly, if you don't know shit about AI, that's why I am there. I can explain techniques used, and the goal is to make AI easy. Just by, be surprised, it's just by clicking and having a beautiful result. Don't hassle with stuff that's ugly. We can do a rant about things that are very ugly with AI, but it's meant to be easy and accessible. It can be self-hosted, yeah. Any interest? Okay.
And what should I put on the topic?
Building AI workflows.
Okay.
Possibly. Do we need to prepare, or are we just winging it entirely? Wing it. Yeah, we're winging it. Yeah.
Mathias.
Hello everybody, you've never heard about me. I'm Mathias Lesniak. I am the TYPO3 project ambassador. That's why I always go up on the stage and say any interest in the TYPO3 All Questions Answered session, where you can ask any question you want about the TYPO3 Association and TYPO3 project and stuff like that, and where the rule is there are no stupid questions, just stupid answers. Any interest in that? Luisa has lots of questions. Okay, so that's a nice thing. We might actually, if there's a full program, we can take that at a table somewhere, because it was only 2 people who know all the answers and 1 who has lots of questions.
It's a private session.
Yeah, so that was good. And then I have another session.
Can I have the topic of the first one?
TYPO3 All Questions Answered? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Luisa can ask all of the wise questions and I can make all of the stupid answers.
Every question, why are we doing this? Then you only have to do the whole day. If you know every answer.
Yeah, but no organizer has yet come up with that idea.
We just made it up right now.
You might have heard about TYPO3 version 14. The high-level roadmap is now out. Yes, it's high level, so you haven't found any details yet. I would like to do a session on that, talk about how we plan to do the TYPO3 version 14 work. We're definitely looking for people, we're looking for tasks, we're looking for things that people can work together on in making TYPO3 version 14 the very best version of TYPO3 until version 15, of course.
And which kind of people are you looking for? Developers, marketeers,
anyone,
business?
because you don't have to be a coder to contribute to TYPO3. You can be anything. You can do marketing, documentation, and you can do code. And Luisa is definitely interested in that. I could see the hand coming. Any interest in TYPO3 version 14? Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Very good. And Lenny isn't here, because I was going to ask her for a demo of Drupal CMS. But anyway.
Yes, she was
if she comes.
Yes, she was planning to, but... No, that was next year. Then we have the MBL session day. Next, there were a lot of questions, very
Hi everyone, I'm Larry Swanson. I'm an independent content architect. I'm a kind of CMS agnostic, so I'm not a TYPO3 person, but I've got a couple of presentations I've been doing over the last couple of years. I've been doing content modeling a long time, and about 5 years ago I got into the world of ontology engineering and ontology design and finding a lot of parallels there. So I've got a slide deck, but I'd be happy to just talk about ontological thinking for content professionals. It's something we all already do, but it's just a different lens to look at it. So that's one idea. Okay. And the second thing I have, I don't know if any of you work with design systems, but I've heard a lot of people like Chris Strahl at Knapsack and others talk about the coming convergence of design systems and content systems. I don't think that's a thing. I think they're quite different. And I have just a really short deck and would love to just noodle with people on that if there's any. I have no idea if there's any curiosity about design systems and CMS's, the interaction here. But anyhow, those are my two ideas.
Okay, so your first subject was?
Ontological thinking for content professionals. That's
second one about design systems.
Yeah, design systems and CMS.
Nice, thank you for that. His question, would this fit in one talk, do you think, or?
That's a good question. Yeah, they could. I mean, I'd be happy to just, talk about both.
Yeah. Yes? Rather like this?
Because I can.
I can do like this as well.
You have to put it here like the thing.
And then. Yeah, it's really quiet, and I saw so many fingers. So who's next?
Hi, my name is Hannes, even though my name tag still says Mirna. There are two things in life I really love. First, hearing myself talk. Second, fast websites.
I can attest to the first one.
Yeah. So if you're interested, I have some slides for core web vitals, metrics to measure the performance of your website. I am crazy enough to do a live demo, so anyone interested in performance metrics?
Quite some people.
Okay.
Thank you, Hannes. Hey, thank you. Hannes. Hannes.
Now I get the joke.
Still early.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up second talks until the row is around, but yeah, you say low-code tools, and from 2 days ago I make my first experience with make.com, and this is a full automated web flow where you can drop an URL and make directly social media posts or write blog posts or make everything on one click, and this is amazing, and I can show this live how this works and how you can go forward to make everything automated with AI so we can spread the whole internet of full content just by one click. Who is interested in this? Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we were just some practical things. About 5 to 10 people or so, or something like that?
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah. Okay.
Your topic?
Make basics. Make up basics.
Make up basics.
Make up, yes. Make up basics.
Make your basics.
The keyword is hard, but I have to rate with it. It's make up basics. Lipstick. Yeah.
I mean, basic has existed for quite a while.
Make up basics, but we will rank.
Somebody else for session, or Mathias for second one. Third one. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I love hearing my own voice and I like fast websites. Shut up, Myrna. Okay. Yeah. Well, one of the ways that I keep myself up to date on what's going on in TYPO3 coding is that I maintain an extension called the interest extension, which has nothing to do with banking and nothing to do with your house loan. This is an extension that is, well, interest is short for integration REST API, but you can also use the command line or webhooks or whatever. And it's basically based on that you can throw any structured data you kind of want at TYPO3, and TYPO3 makes it into pages and content and whatever. So it's a way to, if you're working with data sets that you need to import into TYPO3, this extension takes care of the importing, and the only thing you have to do is push data. You don't have to think about anything that you get back, but it looks really nice in the end. And I'm also looking for people to help me maintain that extension, but I'm also looking for, yeah, exciting, this is, and then. So it's a really cool extension. You've never heard about anything like it. And yeah, I can do a talk about it and all of the amazing stuff it can do for you.
Website to another?
You can use it for that as well. But it's especially good if you have regular imports that you do, like from a PIM system or from anywhere, where you don't want to have data going back and forth. You just want to throw it in there and make it magically turn beautiful. So one person, yeah. Very good. It's very hard to explain that extension in less than 45 minutes. So yeah.
You'll be able to. What will be the main title of your session?
Harry Potter interest extension. Huh?
Interesting.
Import. Yeah. Magic import. Extension.
Magic import extension. That's how we like it. It looks like we have our sessions together already, isn't it? Yeah. So, is there some topic somebody really would like to discuss? Still quiet.
I mean, I'm here all day.
Yeah, we will make an MBL room. No, but thank you for that. We will make up some planning. Timo, we would like to go after lunch around that time. Yeah. And for the rest, Andreas would like to be. You would like to be early. Some other wishes for the people who are doing sessions? Yeah, I'm not like adjacent sessions because I can't be too close. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yeah. Do them in the same room. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I would like to invite you for another cup of coffee so that you can be some more energetic. Then we will put up the program and then we can start at 10:45 as planned. Thank you very much.
Sound, fantastic. Is it already time? Or are we too early? Okay. Is this working with the microphone? Yes, it seems so. So, good morning, welcome on the first round of talks here in Venlo in the Barcamp Day. I have kind of a mission about accessibility. I hear a lot of talks about accessibility, and I'm not happy about them. Yeah, not that we have to do something, but about what they say, yeah? What we should achieve. Sorry, I have a talk prepared. The slides are still 80% in German. I will make them nice to hand them out, so you have to listen to me and not read what's there in German, maybe. We try to focus on accessibility. It's a path to include at the end everybody that we know in our big fantastic digital world, and I try to show you some ideas and things behind that. Maybe as a first part, some questions, action element. Who heard a lot of talks about accessibility? Let's say more than 5 the last 12 months, more than 10. So a lot of them. Are there anyone who never heard a talk about accessibility yet? Fantastic, welcome. Second question, about your role. Who's a developer? Lots of them. You have to build that at the end. Yeah? Who is kind of somehow project related, project manager, designer, these things? What's the rest? Visitors. Okay, users. Fine. Just that I have a rough feeling. So, my name is Jens Krumm. I'm the CEO of Pluswork. We do a lot of things and take care about accessibility for many years already because we were forced to. At the beginning, universities already have to do that in Germany since years officially. And yeah, that we don't need. So, the idea of accessibility is a simple one. We want that basically everyone can use what we do. And if we take Mr. Berners-Lee, who kind of invented the World Wide Web, his mission was the web is for everyone. And so we should really take care that we keep this promise that the World Wide Web, what many people say the internet, is really accessible for everyone and can be used by everyone. There are a lot of talks about legal regulations. Mid of the year, the big club is coming out and will force us, and even the private companies in Europe and on and on. But that's not the point of this talk, because accessibility is much more. Accessibility, as I said, is the promise. For whom do we need digital accessibility? That's the main big question, and that's what we hear in the talks. There are people with so-called disabilities. The numbers are different, between 15, 18, 20%, something like that. And to be honest, yes, they desperately need accessibility, because if you really are, for example, a blind person, you don't have any chance, right? But when we take a closer look, around a third of the population kind of needs accessibility. These are funny people like me, people who reach the 40s and beyond. You know that shady bars is cool for old people too. You have the menu, black paper, purple writing. That's no contrast. I can't read it. I have this fantastic gadget called mobile phone. I can only use it without glasses. They do everything, but not mobile phones. Without glasses, putting it that way, kind of. Yeah, I have to use that. Who's playing games on his mobile phone? Yeah, some of them at least are honest. You get a lot of advertisements. And you, at the end, you want to get rid of them. And there's a small cross in the corner. You have to click it. And it's so small that you can't click it in a way that you don't get another advertisement. That's accessibility. Small buttons, big buttons, contrast. Huh? These are things which hit us every day, everybody. And that's basically useful for everybody if it's made proper. Yeah? That's the idea behind that. And who knows who is the most disabled person using the World Wide Web? Who knows that? No, even worse. Google. Google doesn't see anything. Google doesn't understand anything. But he tries to value your content and say, that's interesting. This page is about this and that. And it's ranking you. Yeah? And if you have a proper accessible website, which is helpful for everybody, it's helpful for Google too, and then by accident you solve most of your SEO problems anyway. Yeah? Because stupid Google suddenly understands what it's all about. So, what is making a web page accessible? As I said, you have to live translate everything you see on the screen. We are talking about accessibility in a case that you should be able to use something not only with one sense, but with a second one. So let's talk about smelling, and if something is burning, you smell the smoke, even if you maybe not see it yet. That's kind of accessibility. And basically the same we need for the web too, and for the web it's rather a simple thing. The web is a visual instrument, so we need a possibility for people who have visual problems to still use it. Taste the internet might be a little bit complicated, but hearing is a way. Who has ever seen a blind person using a screen reader trying to surf through the internet? Yeah. Me too. For me it was a disaster. Everything can happen to me, but please leave my eyes. I want to see something, because with one arm I can still use the internet, but without eyes, in screen reader I would kill myself within minutes. Even when we try to make a page accessible, you should try to get this seen once. And that's the idea. We rely on our eyes, and we need a second way to be able to get the content and the sense of the web page. So we have some examples brought with us. Who at the end has interest for that, please contact me. We can send that to you. We created a memo game. We are not allowed to say the other word for memo because Ravensburger is killing us legally then. It's a memo game, so the idea of memo, who doesn't know that, you have covered cards and you have to find pairs. And we created pairs. One accessible wrong and one accessible right. And here we have some examples for you. The first one is rather simple, hello world. That's a contrast thing. That's one of the biggest issues we have in the internet, with a proper contrast that you can read stuff. Light blue on even lighter blue is not high contrast. And pink on purple might look sexy or whatever, but no. So this is a good example. You need a contrast to be able to see something. We are talking about dark mode a lot next to it's sustainable because it's using less energy. Yeah? Black pixels on the screen are not using energy, whites do. The interesting thing is the highest contrast you have with yellow font on black background and not with the white one. It's better for the eyes. So there's a lot of things about contrast, and the better the contrast is, the better you can read it. And to be honest, does it make sense to create content with a bad contrast nobody can read? No, not at least in my opinion. Second one is another simple thing. We all know that with the alt tag, most headed by editors. When you force them and make the alt text box required, they write in an image. And there we already see, we can create technical accessible systems which run through all tests, and then comes the editor and goes around it. And that's a big issue at the end. Another one is the fantastic idea with form fields and giving a name to that. I don't know if we don't have the other one. So labeling your form fields, it's making sense. And the most interesting thing we have, that's another WYSIWYG standard, don't put the label inside the form field, and when you type it's gone. At least do it that it's showing up on the top again. You all know the autofill function of the browsers. It's doing something and suddenly all form fields are filled, but I don't know if the value is on the right place or not. I have to delete it and look what was expected in that field. So labeling fields in a way that it's always be possible to see is making sense, and labeling fields in a way that the schema data, the HTML is properly defined is making sense, that people with screen readers have a possibility to see the label too. Because you can do a lot of wonder there, but it's not a technical talk how to solve that. Another thing is fantastic PDFs. Content-wise, a PDF is not making sense anyway, because Google is not reading that. So from SEO point of view, it's a lost chance. But if you use a PDF, you should take care that it's accessible too. You can make PDFs which are not accessible. You should take care that all content is accessible. That's what the law is about at the end. Or Word I don't know, is anyone putting Word documents on the internet? So then please take care that they are accessible, please. So that's the point. We have the contrast and stuff. It's about all content, not headlines, not the important text, everything. That's the point we should keep in mind. So there's a fantastic analysis about that. WebAIM is a cool tool to check accessibility for web pages, and they made a report last year and tested 1 million websites. And that's more or less the result, what's happening there, and that's another thing which at the end helps us a lot. The biggest thing is low contrast text. By design it might look cool, but nobody can read it. So for what? More than 80% have a contrast problem on the page. And it's an easy thing. It's a low-hanging fruit. So take care about that. Second one is the missing alt text. Yes. Is it a thing for us developers or project managers, agencies? It's a customer thing. It's a training thing. We have to explain them why they have to put alt text there. That they understand why they have to do it. Then hopefully the editors are doing that. We can support that with certain functionalities in the back end, but at the end it's only support, so we have to teach them. The interesting thing is we talked about that this missing input form labeling is really an issue. I'm wondered because it's nearly 50% of the forms have a labeling issue. Okay, everybody hates to fill out forms, but filling out forms without knowing what I have to fill in. And then I'm wondering why I don't get any requests or answers or leads or whatever. Well, empty links is a fantastic another one. Yeah? I stumble across them a lot. You have a link, you click on it, nothing is happening. Cool. And if you use a screen reader and hear what's in there, you get nuts. Empty buttons is the same. When we talk about buttons, who knows the more problem? Yeah? 5 boxes, and each has a button down there, more. Yeah? A screen reader is reading to that and say, button, more, button, more, button, more. So what do you click then? Think about that. So buttons is a fantastic thing to break stuff. And another part, and there you see we are already going below 20%. So most of the VCAG standards are a problem and you have to take care, but it's not a big amount and that doesn't have a big effect. The next one is missing document language. You can say today it's not that important anymore for a person to understand if it's English because he hears that it's English, but think about our most disabled person, it loves that it knows it's English or German or whatever. And when you switch languages on a page, when you kind of quote a person in English on a German page, you should switch the language too, that certain screen readers, Google, translation systems understand, oh, this is not German anymore, because the systems are stupid. Think about that. Yeah? All right, so that's the point. So these are the top 6 problems we discover on 1 million web pages. And to be honest, is there something complicated there? Do you have an issue to put a label on a form field? Yeah? So please remember that. So that's the point, what we want to achieve here. We talk a lot about accessibility, and it's hyping, it's a buzzword at the moment. Everybody is talking about accessibility. Please think about what it's all about. Why do we do that? We are at the very beginning of accessibility. Some people say, okay, we are at the end because AI will solve that anyway. Because as a blind person, you can say, AI, what's the sense of that web page at the end? Yeah? Think about the other 85% like me who are not using any special tools to use the internet, but still have problems with contrast and whatever. Yeah? Simple language is a fantastic issue for accessibility. Yeah? How to solve that here, AI might help a bit, but we have to think and have still a long way to go. What we can say out of our experience, and we have people doing accessibility now more than 15 years, there's no easy way. So if you stumble across some promises like a JavaScript plugin solving everything, you can buy extensions or extra tools for a lot of money, and then you have a click bar with many accessible functions, low contrast, high contrast mode, dark mode, whatever. They are nice, they are helpful, but they're just always covering a part. And that's basically the same for the developers. Yeah, you can relax because at the end you only have 30% anyway. The technical foundation of everything. Yeah? The rest is editors, images, putting white font on a light image. Yeah? We can't do anything as developers about that thing. Yeah? So this is the more complex thing to teach the people, to think about that. And if we look at examples like the University of Vancouver is doing accessibility already since many, many years, digital accessibility. They hired 2 people, and you know what 2 people cost, to take care about accessibility. What do they do all day? They run around and talk with everybody, including the hundreds of editors, and say, don't forget accessibility. They don't do anything themselves. They just take care that the others are not forgetting that. 2 people. Yeah? You have to finance that. It's about processes, it's about rules, it's about documentation, about training. Yeah? that the perfect 30% from our developer friends are used properly. And this means accessibility is kind of a expensive problem. And you have to decide what you want and why you do that. Yeah? If you say, okay, we need legally to do accessibility, then what we do and what all the talks are about is fine. Yeah? We try to make a proper code. We set up the start page, probably run a test, get an external audit, have a certificate, put it at the wall and say, we are accessible. 2 or 3 years later, someone comes around and says, it's 3 years old, you have to make another audit. They discover 25 new problems, mostly editorial ones. And then you rework that, get another audit for the next 3 years. If that's your need, it's all fine. It's okay legally. Yeah? But then it's not accessibility. It's just trying to follow rules, legal needs. If you really think about that, and especially when you do business where you earn money with your digital output, then it's making sense to think more, because the more accessible you are, the more people can use your page, and the easier it is to use the page, and the more Google likes you. And at the end, we all know that's money. Yeah? Visibility, ranking, all the stuff. All right, so this is a picture from last TYPO3v14. We are now slowly moving to the advertisement part. Here you see Luisa with our fantastic Tremor unit. That's what we try to bring to the events in the bigger ones, that you try to feel the problem of accessibility. And the Tremor unit kind of shaking your arm. And the interesting thing is to use the web with a mouse, and you don't have control over your hand. Yeah? And what's the biggest issue with that? Who knows that? It's not that you have to get the pointer at the right place. The problem is clicking. Because if you press the button and shake your hand, it's automatically in drag and drop mode. It's not clicking. And these are interesting things. There are glasses where you can try to see even worse than you might do today, and such things. So try to experiment, try to feel when you think accessibility is a thing you want to do. Advertisement, I go over there. TYPO3 conference. We had them last year. It was a fantastic event, but just some people. There's another TYPO3 conference coming this year, end of November. Date is already out, I think 25th till 27th of November. Please, please go out, talk with people, try to convince everybody to come there. This is our main TYPO3 event. That's our main TYPO3 visibility event. And we have to be big there to show the world what a fantastic system we have. If we are there with 200, 250 people, we have fun. But it's not selling TYPO3. Let's show the world how strong we are. Try to show up, at least for a day. Get your friends there, spread the word, inspire to share. And let's try to make this event bigger and as big as it deserves, and not let it lay around in the corner. And then you can use our Tremor unit anyway. So that's the advertisement part. And that was my talk about my vision. Mathias is still there. I didn't delete him completely. All fine. Do you have any questions? Should I talk a little bit more about other things? Any questions?
Yeah, there are two things what you are asking. So we're talking about easy language, that's another thing. When we talk about accessibility, everybody thinks about blind person. Huh? So now you know you have to think about me too. I'm not blind, but I still have problems to use it. We know that there are people who have kind of problems clicking, moving with mouse and whatever, so they need a keyboard. There are systems with two buttons, tab forward and OK. Yeah, there's such big buttons. These are things, and easy language is another accessible thing. It's about understanding. It's not that these people are somehow stupid. Yeah? The stuff is getting more and more complex. Yeah? And now think about refugees trying to understand what the hell they have to do. Think about young people who never heard about a Bundestagswahl. Yeah? Think about older people who start to get issues with the complex thing. Think about our generation C who just have 7 seconds to understand something because then they want to see something else. Yeah? It's not fair, I know, but these are examples where you need to find a way to explain stuff more easily. Yeah? Think about normal people, managers like me. Yeah? We are not, we are disabled too because we only read 2 lines. Yeah? Everything after the 3rd line is too much text. We don't have time for that. Easy language is going in that direction. Yeah? Trying to make it easier, and as you said, think about doing a different language and trying to translate your page into a second German version, which is much easier and compressed. But this is high effort. You can do that if you have 5, 10, 15 pages. If you have thousands of pages, will you really translate all of them by hand? That's an idea.
And we are like AI, perhaps,
yeah.
in the future. But as a government and the B2C shops and stuff like that needs to be accessible.
Right, and they have to take care about that, and AI is a good solution. My personal idea about easy language is take your main content and really think about how you can explain it more easily on a human way and let AI do the rest. You don't even have to translate everything into a second page. You can use content fallback, jump in there, click AI in there and say, okay, this page someone needs in easy language. It is not available in easy language. AI, make an easy language version with maximum 300 words. Make a summary. We have that on our web page. You just click there and then you get a 100-line management summary of the long blog articles we write. That's how I cross-check the content. I don't have time to read everything of my own page. There are possibilities, and we have to think about that and keep that in mind. So this is a very, very good point with easy language, because that's another issue. People who have problems understanding the complexity in there.
For people who can't hear, everybody says people who can't hear, they can read. But try to learn reading when you can't hear. That's a big issue.
Yeah. About our digital thing, what we hear is sound. You can use videos, you can use subtitles, capture text. It is difficult, yeah? It is difficult, and we can't solve everything, but we can try to do our best, yeah? And that's what we should do, yeah? Yeah, and that's what we tend to forget, because web is a visual thing, so, yeah? It's the same, we think about the web page, we forget the PDF. Yeah? Accessibility is wide, and it's making sense. I don't know who has ever read the VCAG standards, all of them, and went through. Yeah? So you should think about that, because there's interesting thing in there where I say, yeah, they're right, I never thought about that one. Yeah? Like labels for form fields. It's interesting
that you have to do that. All right. Other questions? Because else I would make a short jump to the talk nobody wanted to hear about the digital estates. I just want to annoy you with 2 minutes. The idea of digital estates is that you have normally, you say, I have a web page, I have a Facebook account. Yeah? Pluswork discovered, my company, we have 3 YouTube accounts. I have access to 1. The other 2, I don't have any access data, but there's my legal imprint there. I'm responsible for that. But at least I know that these 3 are there. We made some experiments 2 years ago. The biggest one was RWTH Aachen, a very, very big university in Germany. They have more than 3,500 websites. They have some hundreds of Facebook accounts, and they have to know about that. And when you now take the legal stuff, don't forget the imprint and everything. That's another legal issue. When you think the legal stuff, accessibility says your digital websites, contents have to be accessible. You have to know that you have 3,500 websites, that you have to make them accessible. If you don't know that, you can't do that. And if you know that, you will kill yourself anyway and search for another company, because making 3,500 websites accessible is not fun. Yeah? So that was the idea of the other talk, so think about that too. It's not the homepage, it's not the main site, it's everything. Yeah? And that's what we should keep in mind. It's difficult with customers because then we have a budget issue, but at least we should tell them, because that's our responsibility.
You need a web crawler, which is rather intelligent, trying to discover
what's connected. The first simple thing is checking domains, subdomains. Second thing is checking imprint. So if there is University Copenhagen down there, then you search for University Copenhagen, discover new domains, you check the links. It's a big crawling thing. We stopped RWTH Aachen, maybe they have 8,000
websites. We don't know, we stopped it after 5 days. Because we thought 3,500 is
fine enough, as an example. That's really hard work. We had a customer in the politician area. They did that on their own and discovered more than 70 Facebook accounts, because you have all these country departments, and they say, it's taking too long to talk with central IT. That's basically the main issue, right? So let's do it quick. Let's set up a Facebook account, we write in there the company, and whoop, you have another social media account where Pluswork is legally responsible. I don't know that. Same happened with websites. We have the dare that you have to try to find out where the hell are they hosted, and then how do we get access? In universities, we see that a lot, that the institutes want a quick solution, and they have a student who knows and sets up a WordPress on a PC machine under the desk somewhere connected to the internet, and everybody forgets about that. Then you have a non-accessible website where the university is responsible, nobody knows about that. You have outdated data. Think about medical companies. They are sued if they have outdated data in the internet. And you have an entry point for attacks, because there is a non-managed server connected to the inside network. There are many, many issues about that, but it's a good example for accessibility too. Because you are responsible. And the solution, yes, is TYPO3. Because TYPO3 is multi-site able. So you can do clever things there. We're doing a lot with universities with a department idea that you have the possibility in the back end to create sub-areas in the tree. Can decide about logo, can decide about color, can say, is it in the main navigation, is it an own navigation? Some simple clicks. Then you get rid of this, we set a WordPress site quickly because IT is too slow. Or we make a Joomla thing somewhere because, you can do such concepts, and our most oldest university customer is the Hochschulverband Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. Fantastic name, HSMV. These are 7 universities in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern who use one TYPO3 installation. But we have 7 different sites, a multi-site, multi-portal concept. We have completely different websites, different navigations, different designs in one system. And then you have the chance to take care, for example, about accessibility. You don't have to do it 7 or 8 or 580 times. We're doing it once. And we solved 7 universities. And that's a strong thing about TYPO3, and that's helping us to sell TYPO3, because this multi-site possibility, cleverly used, is a really, really great thing. We tend to forget that. Kind of saving Midwald servers because we can put 5 sites on one installation. Yeah, no, it's not about that one. More questions? Does Midwald agree, or should we drop the multi-site and buy more hosting?
Yeah, that's possible to have different sites. One side where you do all the accessibility.
Yeah, yes. If you have one system, what is accessibility accessibility from our TYPO3 technical point? It's the elements we build. They have to be cleverly built that they support accessibility. And if you build an element and it's used by multiple sites, you just have one point of administration or change or take care. The second thing is you have one system and put in a
support extension which is supporting you with accessibility, and when we see accessibility SEO and vice versa, if you, for example, take the stuff which is in TYPO3 in any way or put in Yoast or whatever, it's giving you information, and if it's in there for everybody. That's the great thing. And you can make it clever like we did it with the multi-portal concept. You can do it like University of Vienna. They have, I think, 1,400 sites in one installation. They're completely different and everything, single trees. But again, you have one point of administration, then it's much easier to take care about accessibility. Because you have one system and don't look at 1,400 systems.
You described some obvious things for accessibility.
Do we have microphone?
You described some obvious things you can improve accessibility with. I'm sometimes thinking about schema.org. I don't know if you guys also apply that on websites, because even if you like describe each picture, each form, and each link, etc., it still wouldn't tell what the web page is about. And I would think schema.org could be like a good addition for accessibility.
Definitely, and basically they use the same 2 concepts, because you try to label code in a way that it's understandable for external systems what it's all about. And if you say it's a link, it's helping because the screen reader knows it's a link. And if you use schema, you say it's a product page, and on this product page a book is sold and the book has that price and whatever. So there the schema.org is describing a lot of attributes, and with these attributes you can kind of describe your page, which is helpful for Google and others to understand what it's all about. It's kind of a technical summary about what's the page about. And this is helping. Everything we do with structured data, with marked data, is helping and is going hand in hand. And the ideas are more or less the same, but with a different target. Schema is more or less for search engines, and the original idea to better understand what it's all about. And accessibility is more for technical support tools like screen readers, that someone is knowing what it's all about in using the page with a keyboard without mouse, for example, and whatever. But the idea behind that is the same. And if you do, the more you do, the better it is. The more you describe what's the content about, the better it is. And take care about the rules. We have everybody knows this the headline structure, H1, H2, whatever. And you say, okay, H1 is looking that way, H2 is looking that way. What does the editor do? He says, at this point, I want this size of letter, so I use the H1 in the middle of something. From the design point of view, that's nice. From an accessibility point of view, it's nonsense, because after an H3, you suddenly have an H1, and then you have an H3 again, and it's not consistent. It's difficult for someone to understand. That we know. But think about a newspaper. They have a headline, they have a sub-headline. They never will come to the idea to use a major headline somewhere in the middle of the text, because it's structuring the content visible too for the normal users. And if you by design purpose say, I use an H1 here as a major headline, and it is not a major headline, it's killing the sense of the content. It might look great from design point of view, but from content point of view, it's wrong. These are the things behind that at the end. Something else? All right.
Then, have fun.
Think about TYPO3v14. And if you have interest, just send me a note on LinkedIn or info@pluswork.ag. We have this memo game stuff with, I think, 36 examples, 36 pairs of things, and then you can kind of take a little bit of look and play around. Just ask and we can send you one. It's no problem. Thanks a lot.
I am saying what?
And well, we have to have the YouTube stream was the sound was not good. So please test.
I am testing the sound. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing. Yes. Mhm. Check mark, check mark. I'm on. I'm on. I do have sound, TYPO3 version 14. Come and hear, we have lots to tell. So on time, everyone. Welcome to this session about the roadmap for TYPO3 version 14. We released the high-level roadmap on the 28th of January, so it's already old. But this roadmap was the first one that was developed based on research and strategy for TYPO3, not just wild ideas from developers, right? No, it's really been the first thing that really harvests things from the ongoing strategy process that the TYPO3 Association, the TYPO3 company, and everyone involved in the product have been doing with TYPO3. In the product strategy working group, I am a member, but there is also Luisa Faßbender and Bartsch. And when we released the high-level objectives and strategic goals for the roadmap, there were a lot of questions. So I thought what we can do in this session is we can go through the roadmap just generally, and then you will have the possibility as well to ask questions, and we can talk a little bit about our plans and views of the different parts. So I'll go quickly through what's in the article. These guys have, of course, read it 1,000 times already, so they don't need to turn around and look at it. But it's really, the version 14 is really a way for us to try to reach real bigger goals than just that feature or that thing. We want to, firstly, try to involve the community in a different way in this project. We also want to make sure that we don't just listen to people who develop TYPO3, but also the people who are using TYPO3. So we have gotten in a lot of new knowledge, and we've gotten some fears confirmed and stuff like that from end users. Yes, the people that sometimes call you and say they want a new website, right? In our overarching strategy for TYPO3, we have 10 strategic goals. The first one we mentioned in the article is that we want to make fact-based decisions. Yes, that's new in TYPO3. We want to make fact-based decisions. But doing that kind of research of actually talking to people and writing down what they say and try to bring that together into making a new product is really an important way of running product development. Another part of this is that we want to establish governance. So we want to be clearer on the process and how things are done. Both listen to more people, but have clearer paths into actually making changes within the core. And then when you change the core or work with things that relate to TYPO3, the product, there are 8 remaining goals that have been important, and we hope that this release of TYPO3 version 14, when it comes out in, what is it, a year from now, it should help us on the way towards all of these strategic goals. I'll go through them very quickly for you. We want to target customer groups. That doesn't mean that we want to forget anyone, but we know that we have a lot of websites in the public sector, and we know that there are a lot of small to medium enterprises. So those are probably a major target group for TYPO3, and therefore that's a focus for the development going forward. It doesn't mean that TYPO3 will be only for those, but it will be a focus area. Then we are trying to reduce complexity, making things easier to do, basically. Making it faster to upgrade, making it faster to use, shortening the path of an editor from having a task to finishing it. The number of clicks, how can we reduce that? Enabling better content, also by making it easier to integrate with external services. We want to improve our customer-oriented communication. This is also about defining best practices. You know, in TYPO3 you can do things 100 different ways, but only some of those ways are actually the ways that you maybe should do it. And by being unclear on this previously, we have also allowed people to use TYPO3 in ways that are not best practice. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that, you know, this is really the best way to do a certain thing in TYPO3. That will bring customer satisfaction, and it will hopefully also make it easier for those implementing TYPO3 sites to deliver sites that have that work great and that are easy to upgrade later on. We want to improve interconnectivity, which is really the integration capabilities and making connections to, you know, what is it, MailChimp or HubSpot or whatever they are, different integrations that you might want to do from TYPO3. And then we want to make sure that people have a high return on investment on their investment into TYPO3. That means thinking long-term, giving long-term support, thinking about security, things that we are in some way already doing, but really making it part of the way that we think both TYPO3, the TYPO3 ecosystem, and the future versions of TYPO3. Finally, we want to support customer and agency success. Again, that's not only about making TYPO3 great, but it means listening to people, and it means making it possible for people to sell TYPO3 in a good way. So this is not just code. This is really a lot of different areas that we can work. And finally, improving scalability, making it easy to set up TYPO3 on any type of server, making it clear how you can build a TYPO3 installation that is easy to scale. And therefore, we created these roadmap objectives that will help us towards those goals. And roadmap objective number 1 is user experience. Yes. We want to modernize the TYPO3 backend, make it feel fresh and new, but also really increase the speed. Not that the pages load faster, right? But the speed that you can do things in the TYPO3 interface. That will be a focus area. We also want to make things easier to automate, so you get from A to Z maybe without clicking more than one button. Yeah, content translation comes into that as well. We want to have themes in TYPO3. We almost got it version 13, but we want to have that finalized with version 14. That is a major thing for onboarding new people. Just like I said in my previous talk, we need to build themes so that people can set up TYPO3 quickly, easily, and get going. What we increasingly see with user testing is that it's not the agency necessarily that goes to the customer and says, well, hey, this is TYPO3, we're going to build something great for you.
People might hear about TYPO3 and then try it out themselves. And then it really has to fit at once. Lowering the entry barrier is a continuation of that part. We want to make sure that installing TYPO3 is easy. It's going to be easier not only to onboard editors, but also to onboard developers and get going with TYPO3. Today, if you're an agency that's not doing TYPO3, you have to do quite an investment in teaching your developers how to work with TYPO3. By focusing even more on standardizations, using standards, we can make it easier also for developers, project managers, anyone involved in a TYPO3 project to know and read up on how to use TYPO3 in the best possible way. Easier migration and upgrades. I don't know if you've ever had a customer who have complained about an upgrade being expensive. Well, this is a way to keep them expensive but keep all of the money in the agency. But it's really trying to make it possible for a client to buy a website and retain that investment without feeling that it's costing over time. Because a TYPO3 website should really increase in value over time. It should give you more and more in return on investment. It should not be an expense. We want to introduce an AI toolbox. AI is cool. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, but TYPO3 today makes it kind of hard to integrate with AIs. That should be simpler. That should be well-defined also to make sure that you can comply with privacy regulations. Because AIs, yes, can sometimes take your data, right? And show it to people on other continents. And we don't want that. So that means TYPO3 should support AI and keep up the focus on privacy that we have in our CMS. Finally, marketing and customer acquisition. The TYPO3 product is not just code, it's not just something you download, it's a whole ecosystem. And for people who are working in agencies, who are working with trying to make other people start using TYPO3, marketing and customer acquisition is a part of the product. We need to make it a part of the product so that when you become a TYPO3 agency, or if you are a TYPO3 agency, you should have the tools you need to be able to convince customers that they should adopt TYPO3. So therefore, we will create resources and do more work on that. Finally, as I said at the beginning, we want to make it possible for people to take on tasks in this on this path to TYPO3 version 14. We want to make it possible for people to say that they want to do something, say that they can give time, collaborate with other people, and have a focus that they work on, and know that this is something that is bound for the core. Today, the contribution process can be somewhat convoluted, where you have to go through many different steps and many different people. We want to simplify it and make it easier for people to bring in good code to TYPO3. I hope that was a very short introduction. Again, this is the high-level goals. We also want input from you about the things that can come in, and of course, we want you to be involved in this. Even if you're not a coder, documentation, marketing, there are lots of things that can be done in TYPO3 also without code. But of course, if you love code, we love you too. Good. Any questions at this point? Now sit down. No? There's one question. I have a microphone for you. I should unmute this microphone before I go to you. There we go. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yes, the theming thing is very interesting to me, but it's technical also an issue, I guess, because your themes and your templates must be structured in a way, I think. So are there any more sources about that thing?
Yes, there are. Ollie, do you have anything you want to say on that, or shall I talk about it?
Yeah, we started last year on the Surf Camp creating some kind of setup template. So all kind of different types of TYPO3 installations, for example, portfolio website or football club website and stuff like that. And in combination, we introduced the site sets in the latest version, which should make it easy to configure such templates. And now is more or less the current task is to get those already developed themes somehow to get away how they can easily be added to your TYPO3 installation and then can be configured so that you can directly start with one of those themes. That's, I think, the task for the next months.
And I think the important thing here is that we're used to thinking themes as something you download and use for one site. Of course, in TYPO3, we want to make this into, you download a theme and then you customize it with custom code in a different extension, right? So you really can keep this clean and not mix what you've downloaded with what you have customized yourself. And there we have things like site sets, for example, which is the possibility to configure and bring in other parts into a theme from your own workflow or from third parties. Yes. Okay. If there's no other questions, I'm going to ask Luisa a question because I find it's really exciting that we actually have marketing as a part of the product strategy for the first time. And Luisa, can't you just say a few words about, how do you think marketing as a part of the product, because you are the marketing team lead? So, yeah. Where does marketing come into the product? Does it work? Oh, you can use this one. Okay. Oh, it's off. Oh. I didn't check that. Huh? There, it's working now.
Try turning it on? Ah, nice. Okay. I think the question is pretty self-explanatory. Like, every product needs marketing, and we've been letting it go for so long that I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm too close to you or to this. We've been way too developer focused for a really long time, so all of the problems we're encountering with TYPO3 and we have been encountering in the past when it comes to TYPO3 is old, TYPO3 is outdated, no one uses TYPO3, TYPO3 is German. Most of these issues come back to non-properly configured TYPO3s plus a too heavy tech focus on product communication in the past. And I'm really happy that we finally took marketing not just as something that's ongoing in the site and we do a little bit of release materials and then we're off again, but that we're actually taking into account what people are looking for, because we have to make sure the product actually solves the user problems and doesn't just solve developer problems. Of course, the users are also developers, but we've been letting out this entire user group from product development in the last versions and in the last years. So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers my question.
I can ask something, add something. I don't know if this got be clear in your presentation. The idea of the roadmap objectives is that there are some tasks, for example, lowering the entry barrier, and that's not a task for developers or a task for marketing. So it's all those objectives are kind of involving every units. So for example, marketing, example development, but also documentation. And instead of that, for example, the developers go in and make their stuff. Afterwards, they say, documentation team, okay, now you have to document this. And maybe then there's some time for marketing to market this. So it is a process where everybody is involved and is working together for every objective.
And especially when looking at the version 14 roadmap, like we're not even at the point of 14.0, and we already know that all of these parts have to play together. So now we can run together and not into 5 different objections. And then it's like, we should have talked about that first. So I'm really happy that we took that approach for this. And if we're all working simultaneously on reaching these goals, the success rate is probably a lot higher than if it's like, we have a feature release tomorrow. Did you do marketing around that? Just like, no, I didn't know about that up until today. So, Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is really a new understanding of cross-competence teams, where you really work with people with other competencies from the beginning, and that means we will probably think differently with how the whole development workflow will be going forward as well. That if let's say that you have an idea that you want to bring into TYPO3 and you have some time available, you can have your project team for that would include you, some developers, a marketer, a UX person, a documentation person, and everyone starts on day one talking about, how can this feature be best? What do we need in documentation? What would the UX be for this? And then for the developer implementing, it will be easier to know what this is going to look like at the end. It's easier to develop user stories for it, but also when the feature is released in the end, it's actually released with documentation, hurrah. And when people start using it, the UX is actually the way that people would normally expect it and stuff like that. So hopefully that will also lead to greater user satisfaction, and that in itself is also very good marketing for TYPO3. Ben, microphone.
I'll do the microphone, child.
So what actually changes at this moment to encourage that collaboration? Is it creating more sprints? As I know from the past, that those things were really successful. I mean, it's a lot of talk about collaboration between different silos, so to speak. Is that something that you encourage online, or is it in sprint form, or what's the idea?
It's not idea of where this happens. I think mostly online. The main idea behind that is that there's not the one core team which is developing stuff and other people are just contributing, and the core team says, okay, we take this, we take this. So the idea is, as Mathias explained, if somebody has an idea, have some feature in, they can build a team around him, build this feature, and if this feature aligns with the roadmap, the feature will go in. So there's no barrier where you have to align with a dedicated group or something like that.
Yeah, but the question is more, it sounds more theoretical to me than practical. So the question is more, how do you achieve that?
That's the good question, yeah, sure. So we need contributors, we need ideas who implement.
Sprints.
Yeah, I don't think, sprints would be helpful if people would align to go to the sprints to achieve something, but just scheduling sprints and nobody attends does also not help. So we need to have some marketing to get people involved, because that's also one of the roadmap goals, lowering the entry barrier also for contribution.
So when talking about the practice of things, it is going to happen in sprints that are probably taking place at the Düsseldorf office. Just because it's easier, you can just spare a week of your time every quarter. If that's all the time you are able to offer, that's still more than enough. You get all of the people in the office, you set them down, you give them beer, you give them pizza, you give them a reason to work and a goal to work towards that. So
so it's a good idea, but I also feel that the whole idea of beer and pizza is just not cutting it. Honestly, I mean, there are a number of really good developers and really smart people working on content and other things. I would say, so currently you have the surf camp for young people. I'm excluded, and I guess a lot of people here are excluded. Then I would say what is, for me, so there's a number of software projects that do that, and choose an exquisite location. Something like that, or I don't know, the Canary Islands somewhere, really cool. Yeah, no,
don't you like Düsseldorf?
But that makes a lot of sense, as a kind of appreciation for people that work on it, So, and I understand the good intention behind beer and pizza, but that doesn't always cut it for, you know, just to appreciate people. So you need to take that to a bit higher level, from my perspective.
Yeah, I think we have to go many ways to support that, but I think the biggest step is that I'm officially asked for support and ideas. And this is a big thing, and we should push that, because as you said, there are many, many brilliant people out there, and we open the door now and say, come in. We try to make it easier. We want to hear your ideas. Please let us know that we in the back end finally need tabs, please, yeah? That I can open 2 pages or 3 at the same time. They want to hear that. And that's the fantastic, most important first step, and then that they are working together and not forgetting half of the stuff which we have to do, like marketing. So we have to see and have to learn, and we will get better with 15 and 16 and 17, and TYPO3 version 178 will be perfect.
Two comments to that. I mean, it's very correct as well that, you know, these are steps on the way. So, you know, we won't reach all of our goals, or maybe not any of them in, you know, the ultimate sense when we release version 14. But this is the first steps we're taking in this process. And when it comes to these questions of, you know, what can we do to make people contribute? You know, going away to fancy places is one solution, definitely. But I think that one very important solution is exactly this thing of saying, well, is there anything that you burn for in TYPO3, or something that you would really like to work on? That is now much easier for you to do. It's about lowering the entry threshold and making people more responsible. I think that we've had a period where core contribution has felt like something that you're nominated for once a year, like a board position, and you cannot really do that unless you know, really commit to it on that level. But if you today have something that fits with our goals, and I mean, really, these are high-level stuff, so you can use your fantasy and find out things that you might want to do. It's now possible to make a team around you and what you want to do, and make that into not a core team, but a feature team, or whatever we end up calling it, that really works on this particular thing. And you don't have to commit to being a core developer for 20 years to do that.
And when it comes to lowering the entry barrier, I don't think a lot of people know, but these community sprints that are happening every 3 months, everything is being paid for. So we're really making it easy for you to participate. The only thing you need to do is either ask your boss to give you a week of time or take time off, but accommodation, food, all of that is being covered because we appreciate people actually delivering the time to us. And that's something from the marketing and communication perspective. We need to put that more into the focus too, because a lot of people probably feel like, oh, the community sprints are going to be Olli, Benny, Benji, the other Benjamin Franzke, and then a couple of other guys, so what should I do there? And we've seen in the past with these sprints, we had people from other communities even joining in because they've been actively asked to participate, specifically in documentation, and that it was really eye-opening for them because they didn't know that it was this open. So it's a matter of us framing the events better. And
yeah, and I mean, it might include a swimming pool, but there's, I mean, people have different attractions to these events.
But you got the message, right? If you go to a course sprint, you get the
Travel expenses, the hotel, the food, paid.
So,
you into time.
Can you repeat for the online audience?
Jens just said, you know that if you take part in a core sprint, everything is being covered by TYPO3. So accommodation, hotel, food, drinks, travel to and travel back. And it's not just the communication community sprints that this regards to. This is marketing, this is documentation, this is anything. Like all of these teams are acting in the same way, and all of these teams are enabling everyone to join on this level.
And we really appreciate everyone which joins, even if you have not touched a core since years or anyway.
Or not at all, yeah. I mean, your first code contribution might be on a code sprint, right? And what I often talk about in these cases, because this is an issue in open source contribution a lot, that feeling that you can do something is maybe the most difficult feeling to get to. And just remember as well that everyone who's in the core team right now, or who's in the board, or who's in the marketing team, or who are have some kind of position in the TYPO3 community right now, started like you with absolutely nothing in their hands, and someone just stumbled in a door, or went to a conference, or sent an email. It starts with very, very small steps. You don't know anything. That's why you're at the beginning. Then you learn along the way, and everyone's been there. So don't be afraid to put your hand up if I say, well, could you, imagine contributing to TYPO3 in some way, shape, or form? Hands up. See, you're not alone. This is a joint effort where everyone collaborates on doing it. So yes, please join us. There's an email in the... in
the computers.
Yeah. There's an email in my computer that you can send your... Yeah. The article is on typo3.org. Rochelle Foucard is the person to email right now, because she's leading the product strategy group. But I mean, if you want to start contributing, hey, you can come to me, you can come to her, you can come to him.
And what's important to say, contribution doesn't automatically mean you have to join a team and you have to be available forever. Contributing is also just coming to Ollie at an event like this and just dropping an idea. That's also a contribution, because it opens up new ideas, new ways of thinking about stuff. And so even if you're just able to be online in Slack and ping anyone from any team, that's helping us, because it's opening our eyes, because everyone's really focused on their tasks, and just giving a different perspective on topics is also contribution. So that's also really important to know.
What she says. I went to my first TYPO3 conference in 2008. I procrastinated for most of the days to talk to anyone involved in, TYPO3, and I remember in the end I dared go up to Robert Lemke, I think it was, and I said, I heard about this cool JavaScript framework, and it really makes it much easier to write JavaScript, and da-da. And he said, wow, cool, I'll look at that. And a few months later, it was in, well, Neos, but it was in there, yeah. So that happens. We need that kind of input. Ideas, thoughts, even complaints. Constructive criticism is always the best, but if you don't know how to solve it, well, bring the problem.
If you just need to vent at some point, that's also okay. Just like, we always have an open ear, but it has to have some tangent to it.
Read the code of conduct, and then you can see how far you can go. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's Jonathan has a question. We also need photographers. Thank you. Yeah.
Maybe a testimonial, maybe. I used TYPO3 since 2005, and my first code sprint was in 2015 in Paris, and I joined this code sprint only because it was in Paris and there is no fees for me, and I didn't feel at the good level to go to a code sprint. So it was in Paris, so it was free to me to go, and I was hurt by the accessibility of Benemac, Loli Christian Kuhn, and Mathias Schreiber at this time to help me. I remember, and I have again in my home a post-it from Benemac. He helped me, doesn't take care of my low level, and explained me everything. Repeat. And 4 months later, I was in Berlin for a code sprint. next year in Basel, Waalwijk, because it was my first camp here in 2014. And I go to Basel in November at Düsseldorf. It was my first time in the TYPO3 GmbH office. And I registered me, I take the last place, and I registered without a specific goal. And the first, on the Monday when I came to the office, I meet Lina Wolf from the documentation team, and she asked me if I have a goal for this week, and I said no, and she asked me if I would to contribute to update the documentation, and I passed 3.5 days to work on the site package review of the page, the tutorial, and it was just amazing. So don't hesitate to go to a code sprint to register. Just ask to your boss to contribute to TYPO3. And as you can see, and I saw some eyes to try to understand my English. I'm not good at English, but it doesn't matter. You repeat, you ask, you re-ask, you re-repeat, and that's all. So don't hesitate.
Yeah, maybe it's important to say, and what you wanted to say is you can also join a community sprint in Düsseldorf without knowing what to do there. So there are enough to do, and we will surely find some tasks which will suit you and which you can contribute.
And I really appreciate that you told your story, because I always like to tell mine too. Because during my first marketing sprint, I was 20 years old. And I didn't even know that there is something like marketing in TYPO3, because from my perspective, it's developers. So I was happy. My former boss was like, okay, let's give it a go. And I joined. I was the youngest, and I was one of the only women in there. But I was still taken seriously. Like, I didn't know a lot about TYPO3 besides the editor part. And they still listened to what I had to say and gave me a place. And this was so insanely motivating that I'm trying to do the same for other people too. Because your voice is important. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 20 years, for 10 years, or for a month. Any perspective helps, and I really appreciate that.
Actually, we appreciate ideas from people which are not so in the TYPO3 community or in the business at all, because we have, I don't know, what did you say, 2008? So we are so long in this thing that we don't think of something which people with other perspectives think about.
Yeah, Bennemak is still only 19, but yeah.
One other thing we should think about. One important thing we should keep in mind and think about, it's our system. We as members of the association own that all together. It's ours. It's our asset. It's our software. We're not only using it as a member of the association, you're owning it. And then it's making sense to take care about the thing which I own, because I make my asset better. And I earn money with that as a side effect.
So at this point, it is the opportune time to take 15 seconds of silence to think about what is the feature you would most like to have in TYPO3, or what is the improvement you would most like to have in TYPO3. Think about that for 15 seconds now.
Just to let you know, my idea is the best one.
So very good, everyone. You now have thought about your idea. And if you got my business card, you can take up a pen if you have one, and you can write it on the back of the card, and then you know why you should send me an email afterwards, right? Let's work on this together.
And the winner idea would be fake snow in the TYPO3 backend, just like you can do in WordPress, because I love it.
I mean, that's allowed, you know. This is, we really need ideas, right?
Christmas mode.
Yeah. I mean, rain also works if that's your preference, but you know, sandstorm. Yeah.
But I didn't get a business card, so I can't send in.
Yeah, no, you have it already, because.
Might be a reason.
Yeah. But I don't want to know. Yeah. Very good. I think we're at the end of this pretty much right now. We have 5 minutes left. If you
I just want to add
yeah.
to what you said is that was actually also why I get involved in contributing, because it's actually, like you said, it's our system, and it's such an opportunity to be involved, to get your ideas, to get my ideas in the system, and to help myself and my customers. So yeah, don't see it as task to step up, see it as opportunity, then, because that's what open source is.
And you don't have to have an idea to contribute, right? We have ideas ourselves as well, but you know, by putting it all together, that's when we are stronger, and it's when we can really figure out what we need to prioritize for version 14, right? Yeah, good.
You can even have to eat the chocolate and drink the coffee there. Right?
You can have your cake and eat it too, is that, yeah. Good. Thank you very much for coming. I'm really excited about version 14. I hope you are also very excited now and want to join up and help. So I'm going to give you a big applause.